Hey, welcome back to the How to Win an Argument in this section 1, the part 2 of Gain Absolute Control and Total Self Control. As we have discussed in the previous episode, that the Tao Te Ching said measuring others requires force, mastering the self need strength. And today again, further we are moving in this section 2, and they are the 7 ways a still center keeps you from getting in your own way. The Tao teaching said, knowing others is wisdom, and knowing the self is enlightenment. And we have discussed about the way number 2. You get in your own way when you see things the way you want them to. So, in this episode number 2 of this absolute and total control, the way number 4 you have to follow, that is, you get in your own way when you conclude fact from your assumption. Means you went through your way when you conclude the facts from your assumption. A bravely helpful fuel shop sign read compare our price to duty-free shop prices. After looking around the store, I told the clerk that even though they thought their prices were less than duty-free, they were mistaken. We didn't say they were less. Our sign only says compare prices. She responded. So here is one quick quiz for everyone who are listening and watching this episode. So the four paper volume of Sherlock Holmes mysteries are standing on a shelf in a sequential order. Each volume is 2 inch thick. A bookworm in a straight line eat his way from page 1 of volume 1 to the last page of the volume 4. How many inches of the Sherlock Holmes mysteries did the bookworm eat? So, quiz, listen again. The four paper volume of Sherlock Holmes mysteries are standing on a shelf in sequential order, and each volume is 2 inch thick, and a bookworm in a straight line eat his way from page 1 of volume 1 to the last page of volume 4. How many inches of Sherlock Holmes mysteries did the bookworm eat? So answer in a minute, please. Here is a favorite workshop question of mine. Let's see how do you do. Joy is 30-year-old. He is very shy and withdrawn, with little real interest in people or the world of reality. A meek and tidy soul, he has a need for order and structure, and has a passion for detail. Is it more likely that Joy is a salesman or a librarian? So you have to identify that Joe is the salesman or a librarian. How? Joe, he is a 30-year-old person and who is very shy and withdrawn, with little real interest in people or the world of reality. And a meek of a tidy soul, he has a need for order and structure, and has a passion for detail. So it is more likely that Joe is a salesman or a librarian. Two-thirds of the executive who were asked about the job backed him as a librarian, but there are 30, 75 times as many salespeople in the United States as there are librarians. Statistically, the greater chance is that Joe is a salesman, but because something seems probable doesn't make it so. Maybe you made a fatal assumption about the Joe. If so, you are in a good company. Look at the fatal assumptions Walmart made. Walmart built US style parking lots for its shopping centers in Mexico. But most citizens, they don't own car. City bus stops were behind the seemingly endless lots, making it a door hole for shoppers to get their purchases home. In Latin America, Sam's Club, Walmart's discount food operation, fizzled and flopped. Shopper who lived in cramped apartment didn't buy or have room for its huge multi-pack items. In Brazil, Walmart designed a store with the US size SO or SIs that couldn't accommodate the crush of shoppers who did the bulk of their shopping once a month on payday. And look at the fatal assumptions you make about Walmart. You assume there will be a discount for large purchases you make at Walmart. Value in value sizes at a Walmart in Mesa, Arizona, a savvy reporter discovered that the 64 ounce Hazen ketchup was 25% more per ounce than the smaller bottle. The 60 ounce Minute Maid frozen one's juice was 51% more per ounce than the smaller size. The family size container of Cool Whip was more per ounce that the tub half its size. At a Chicago Walmart, two single containers of the Pringles were cheaper than the twin pack Pringles. None of the items priced by the reporter were on sale or promotion. So here you have to notice something interesting that you are not ready to read past this line until you have taken the quick quiz on previous page. So the answers to the bookworm quiz is 4 inches. How can that be? Page 1 of volume I when started on a shelf is on the far right of volume 1. The last page of the volume 4 when standing on a shelf is on the far left of volume 4. The bookworm only ate through the volume 2 and volume 3. If you were wrong, it's because you made a false assumption. But don't feel bad. Fewer than 10% of workshop students correctly answer the bookworm quiz. This is true even when the workshop is for executive and managers too. So here is some heads up for you. You conclude fact from your assumptions. You quickly accept the intuitive as the conclusive, the apparent as real. You make assumption about others, about facts, about circumstances, your reality. What you believe is largely based on your assumption. A still center empowers you to consider whether there is a sound basis for your assumption. Mostly it happens, we make all think, conclude every fact from our assumption that quickly accept the intuitive as the conclusive, the apparent as real. You make assumption about others, about facts, about circumstances, and reality. What we believe is largely based on our assumptions. And still center empowers you to consider whether there is a sound basis for your assumption or not. So let's move to the way number 5, to get the self control that you get in your own way when you are convinced that you know what you know. Here is the big one or big thing for you, that you get in your own way when you are convinced that you know what you know. That is a big question. You only know that what you know, but the other, no, you don't know that. You can also utilize the Zori window principle here. Here is a quick quiz for you. Okay, all you are footage. Here is a chance to show your stuff. Texas barbecue special are 5 times more common in Atlanta than in Dallas. True or false? You are more likely to find corned beef lunch special in the Dallas than in New York. True or false? Deep dish pizza special are 7 times more common in Miami restaurant than in Chicago. True or false? Stand by for the answer. The late Roberto Giacicio, CEO of the Coca-Cola Company, reported to his shareholders, "After I spoke to a group of students at my alma mater, one of them asked me a simple question: which area of the world offers the Coca-Cola Company its greatest growth potential?" Without hesitation, I replied, "Southern California." They all laughed, thinking I was trying to be funny. So, to drive home the point, I shared with them one my interesting fact. The per capita consumption of bottles and cans of Coca-Cola is actually lower in Southern California than it is in Hungary. The student went silent. Casinos take advantage of you being convinced you know what you know, with ads touting big slot machines pay off. Highest payback, 98% return. What isn't disclosed that often is that only one or two machines in a casino with as many as 1500 are that liberal. Foster, a major Australian brewery, was convinced that it knew when it decided to take on a Chinese beer market in 1993, and why not? There were 1.2 billion Chinese, and beer consumption in China is the 10 preceding years and increased tenfold. The Fosters for folks figured that if they sold beer to only 2% of the Chinese people, they would have a new market as big as its Australian market. 5 years years and 70 million US dollar in a loss later. Foster's pulled out of China. So, what went wrong? Because Foster knew what they knew or what it knew. It underestimated local competition in a country where it was prestigious for town big and small to have their own brand of beer. Foster didn't take into full account the degree to which local government worked to support hometowns breweries, nor did Foster consider that on an everyday basis the Chinese wouldn't pay a premium for a foreign beer. Mori F is a con artist. He is the business of selling the distributorship. Here is how he do his customer who know what they know. Mori will sell you an exclusive territory to sell wall mounted garage storage racks. Your territory will have 5 lakh homes with garages. The customer installed storage units will sell for 195 US dollar. Your cost is 80. Morris point out two things that are true. There is nothing else quite like these racks on the market, and everyone can use more storage space. Mori tells you that it is reasonable to expect that 3% of the hometowners or homeowner will want to buy a storage unit. 3 in 100 seems as easy as fishing in a trout pond. If you sell 15,000 units means 3% of 5 lakh and realize a profit of $115 each, you will make. Hold tight to your hat 1 lakh and 70 lakh and 25,000 US dollar. Even if you spend the 2 lakhs and $25 for advertising, that is a profit of 1.5 million. Now that is something to write home about. Modi's 3% seems pretty reasonable. His math is faultless, but Mori's entire scenario is based upon a dubious premise that 3% of the hometowner will be your customers, a premise readily accepted by Morris. Customers who know what they know. Over the years, I have seen other clients lose money on sure things because all the two bucket project needed to break even was just 3 consumer. An hour or in a restaurant project only 20 dinners a meal. What you know is a precautioner to how you will react and respond to others and their ideas. And let I forget, according to Forbes, the answer to the 3 quiz question on page 20 are true. So hang up now and head you up. You give undue credence to what you do know, and you figure that what you don't know isn't that important. Much of what you know to be true is questionable, incomplete, or the downright false. Yet the reality in your head is as important as real to you. As the fact on the ground, a still center empowers you to consider whether you really know what you know. Then the way number six is that you get in your own way when you are influenced by head turning times. My in laws don't refer to be things they bought on vacation, a cup and a saucer, a carving, a wall hanging as souvenir of mementos. Instead, they refer to these objects as memories. I think friend and love's expansion makes a lot of sense. A handcrafted brass letter opener prompt my memories of an afternoon walking the cobblestone street of Budapest. The shady spot is my yard brings back memories of the great times my kids had with Chikazi out Wheaton Terriers who attained the status of a family member. Violets bring back lump in throat memories of my mother's birthday. Many times, your feelings about an idea are because of what or whom you associated with it. The tie is in doesn't need to be rational, consequential, or relevant. An example: a super or supplier take you to a great concern. Subconsciously, you let your positive feeling about the concert tie into how you feel about the supplier. Here are some head-turning ties in example involving famous people and well-known situations. Did any of them influence how you feel about a place, person, or product? Credibility head-turners. Cal Ripken Jr. hold the major league record of the most consecutive baseball games played 2632. He was also featured in an ad for Met and Company's hypertension drug. Perennial Cal Ripken Jr. and Perennial both on the job every day in small print. The ad say Paul Ripken Jr. is not hypertensive and is not taking Renewal. It is spokesperson is called Ripken Jr. The product takes on a aura of durability and reliability. Golf genius Tiger Boot plus American Express. It's natural for people to see an affinity between the values that Tiger represents and the values that American Express represent. We are both very focused on earned success, discipline, hard work, achievements, and integrity. Boasted the president of American Express. Michael Jordan has pitched Nike shoes, and Apple Wilson Sporting Goods. Hence, underwear, Worldcom, telephone services, Oakley, sunglasses, and Ryobic batteries, Wheaties cereals, and Gatorade and Coca-Cola. Maybe Jordan is right that Wheaties are good for me. Maybe Jordan is right that Wheaties are good for me, but how credible is the nutrition advice from a guy who also said I should be drinking Coke? The tie in the response of marketing gurus. Who else is cooler than Michelle Jordan? Nobody today better embodies after American spirit. The nostalgia Hutch Turner is that A poll received or revealed that most San Franciscan have never tried rice roli or rice roni, nor did San Franciscans invent the rice pasta combination dish in a box. So why is rice a roni? Dishes as the San Francisco treat. San Francisco is one of the most popular travel destinations in the country. Its fine restaurants are legendary. Rice and Ronnie trade on the strong positive feelings we have about the city. By the way, the era spanning two decades after World War II is often viewed as a golden age. Communities were familiar, secure, and comfortable. We had stable job and relationships. And old-fashioned America when folks weren't in a hurry, playing on the comfort of the days gone by. Tilsa Okama advertises it as America the way you remember it. Moxie, about half of those who are died in report that it tastes like cough syrup. But not. Moxie is the kind of soft drink you either love or spit out. Since 1884, Moxie's financial faithful have found the bitter root extract to drink the elixir of life. While giants like Coke and Pepsi are battling for cola market shares, Moxie and other obscure soft drinks are thriving in local market across the country. These regional or cult brands with town home names like Big Red, Sandrop, and Kipo Joy Shoes developed in mostly rural areas. Consumers identify which cult brand because of their ability to evoke nostalgia and a sense of the origin pride. And is this taking advantage or what restaurant especially beating the warm are on average priced 15% higher than a non-warm special reports focus. Being a cool or prestigious headhunter Steve isn't good for you, but it's still really good because it remained the dinner of champions because steak dinner is more than ever as a special event. Observe fortune. The 170-year-old cognac brand Courvoisier has launched a line of men's and women's sport wears. Uh, an ad campaign featured pink boots, a red silk dress, and diamond earrings spelling the logo CV. Land Rover has catches. Land Rover have cash it, but few can afford the price. Four-wheel drive vehicles. The solution Land Rover shoes footwear pick the Land Rover logo. According to the shoe license, carries the same image of adventure, gets and supremacy that the vehicles carry. That is why Nike's Air Zoom, an Ultraflight has an outer shell modeled after the engine deck on a Ferrari Modena. And why Nike's Air Jordan 28 comes 18 comes with the side air flaps reminiscent of Lamborghini's air intakes. Don't hold your breath. I don't think you will be seeing footwear that looks like a Ford Focus. So Here is the heads up for you. Tie ins are head turns that influence how we think and feel. A head turn in tie in can be as simple as a gift from a salesperson or being treated a dinner by the someone's soliciting your vote at an upcoming meeting. Tie-ins don't need to make sense to impact how you feel or think. Still, central empowers you to consider whether the tie is relevant, appropriate, and applicable.